that we would get to the bottom of the bottomless, that we would plumb the depths of the unfathomable. And you say, what is this double talk? How can he pray for them to have the supernatural power to be able to comprehend what is incomprehensible? What is Paul praying? Here's what he's praying. Listen carefully. He is praying that you and I may enter into the knowledge of God's love. That we day by day deeply enter into further comprehension of how incredible this love is. And I thought to myself, I'm going to preach on the love of God. I could literally, without exaggeration, preach 100 sermons on the love of God, and I would not do it justice. It is so beyond our ability, my ability to put it in a message today. But nonetheless, because of the limitation of time, I want you to focus with me on three things. I want you to focus on the immensity of the cost of God's love. Secondly, I want you to focus with me on the impediment of the recipient of God's love. And thirdly, I want you to focus on the immeasurability of the blessing of God's love. The enormity of the cost. I told you, salvation is free, but it wasn't cheap. It cost God everything. It cost His Son. It cost Him everything. And I began my statement with that kind of shock, in order to shock you, in order to get you to focus, in order to get you to think with me about the cost of the love of God. Sure, it is unconditional to us, but it was conditional to God, you see. God had to pay the price. I wanted you to focus from the very beginning on the cost of love for God. I want you to hear me right. For somebody to take a punch in the face for you is very different from somebody who would take a bullet in their heart for you. For someone to sacrifice an hour or two or a day or two for you is different from somebody who would sacrifice his future for you. And for a human being, one might die. It's very difficult. It's nearly impossible. But even if it happens, as we'll see later what Paul tells us. But don't forget that this is the perfect, holy, righteous God, sinless, whose life is of infinite value. Not only got up on that cross and died for you, but bore your sins and mine for you. For the God who is the maker of the universe, the owner of the universe, to die in order to pay the wages of your sins and mine is of immense value. It's incomprehensible. I read not so long ago about a couple who was sitting with a pastor who had gone for counseling, and then the conversation heated up, and the husband said to the wife, he said, have I not given you a beautiful new home? Have I not given you a beautiful new car? Have I not given you beautiful new clothes? Have I not given you? Have I not given you? And then when he calmed down, the wife said, that much is true. You have given me everything but yourself.